Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. According to an Edward Jones survey, a third of Americans say the pandemic has triggered conversations with their family about end-of-life plans. Joining me to discuss is Alison Carnie, CFP principal with Edward Jones. Alison, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Thanks for having me.
Let's discuss three key areas, starting with multi-generational planning. What did you learn from the survey, and what are some ways to effectively plan across the generations?
Well, we found that 66% of Americans reported that the pandemic has made them think a lot more about the kind of legacy that they want to leave behind. It's really been, the pandemic has been an inflection point for many Americans, and we think that's a good thing. Typically, we see a lot of folks really avoiding the topics of death, taxes, finances with their family members. And so the pandemic has really led to many more conversations. Additionally, our study also yielded some really interesting results about what legacy means. Surprisingly, it's not all about the money. The most important things that Americans 50 or older wish to leave behind for loved ones include lasting memories from shared experiences, life lessons and values, and then third, an inheritance.
And then next is securing crucial documents. How many people actually have a will, and what other documents should be secured?
It's hard to say exactly how many Americans have a will, but our study showed that 71% of Americans 50 or older believe that having a will in place is one of the most important actions to take before someone dies, yet only 49% actually have a will. And we would say that there are three very basic documents that all adults should have in place: a will, a healthcare directive, or sometimes called a living will, and a durable power of attorney for finances and medical care. So while we think these things are critical, only 19% of adults 50 or older have all three of these essential end-of-life documents. Our study also noted that more than half of Americans don't have any long-term care plans in place at all, while only 1 in 10 have arranged to live with a child or another close family member. There are certainly some gaps out there.
A financial advisor can help to mediate these conversations. How many people use one, and what's the best way to work with an advisor for end-of-life planning?
Well, millions of Americans use FAs, financial advisors, and in fact, our study showed that 22 million Americans began working with a financial advisor for the first time during the pandemic. And FAs add a lot of value in the estate planning process. I think about it in two areas, or in two ways. Your financial advisor is an expert on your financial situation, and your financial advisor knows you and your family situation. And these are usually two areas that an estate planning attorney might not be as familiar with. So what we would say is leverage your financial advisor to help in the process by bringing your family picture and your financial picture to the table when working with that estate planning attorney.
And I'm sorry.
I was just going to say too, I've also seen many clients and client and FA interactions where the financial advisor is really improving the quality of the decision that clients are making, because that financial advisor asks some tough questions about that client's family, and it really are aiming to make sure that that estate plan makes a lot of sense.
Right, and perfect segue for my next question. What's your advice to starting these conversations, especially if you have a family member who strongly objects to approaching the subject?
Yeah, look, we know that talking about death and money is not comfortable. No one likes to do it. The study revealed that 3 in 5 US adults report that there are many barriers when it comes to having these family discussions, including just wanting to avoid family conflicts, wanting to avoid burdening family members with finances, and then just generally being way too uncomfortable to address the topic. My thought is persist anyway. If there are family members that are against these conversations, persist anyway. Planning your estate and end-of-life arrangements is the kind thing to do for your family or the loved ones that you leave behind. And by not having the conversation, you really run the risk of your affairs being disorganized and your assets potentially passing in ways that might be against your wishes. So ask a financial advisor or attorney to help explain the risks of not having a plan. That might help those resistant family members get on board.
All right, and anything else that you want to share as it relates to end-of-life planning?
Just one thing, don't let perfection stop progress. So many clients think that they have to have it all figured out and buttoned up in order to put this estate plan in place with their financial advisor and their attorney. And in fact, this just isn't the case. Estate planning should be fluid. It's really normal for estate plans to change over time as your wealth grows, as your health declines, as your family dynamics shift and change, and even as legislation changes, as we might be hearing about, right now. So put something in place that suits you and your goals right now, and just don't get hung up on all those details, and let your financial advisor, your estate planning attorney, and even your CPA help you through the process.
All right, Alison, great advice. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thank you.